Welcome back to Atlanta and Company. I'm Tom Sullivan. Well, if you're like me, you get bombarded with mailers for advertising like car insurance, life insurance, homeowners insurance, even insurance for your animals. But, you know, what insurance do we really need? Well, we brought in our shopping expert, and she's the shopping queen. Fatima Medikarimi is here to answer all these burning questions. How are you?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
Fantastic. I'm excited to know about what insurance we really need. And you say there are 5 different types of insurance. So let's run them down. What's the first one?
The first one, starting with A, is auto insurance.
Okay, perfect.
Especially in the state of Georgia, because it is actually law that you need to have at least liability insurance. So you have to have liability insurance in the state of Georgia in order to be allowed to operate a vehicle.
Sure.
However, that really only protects the other person that you hit. If you want to protect your car and yourself, you need to have collision and comprehensive coverage. So you definitely want to make sure that you've got, you know, depending on your needs, the right coverage for you, and shop around, because rates can vary from one company to another company, as well as on a variety of factors ranging from your past driving history to your credit history, what kind of vehicle that you have. So there's a lot of factors, but you can price shop and see what kind of deals are out there for you.
Okay, cool. And then we have a roof over our head. Luckily, we're lucky to have enough when we do. So we need, I guess, something for our home.
Yes, if you have a roof over your head, you need insurance over your head as well. So you need to have homeowners insurance. And homeowners insurance, that can also vary, obviously, by the type of home that you have, how large it is, and so forth. But you also want to make sure that you're covered properly, too. So if you've done any major renovations, purchased any expensive furniture, jewelry, or anything in your home, that also gets noted on your policy, because you don't want to find out that you're not covered when disaster strikes. Now, another part of homeowners insurance is, while it's not necessarily called homeowners insurance, but if you have a roof over your head, is you want to make sure, if you live in an apartment, that you have renter's insurance.
Which a lot of people may not know they can get, and it's very important. I didn't know until my second year of renting.
Exactly. And it's fairly inexpensive, too. And you can typically call your auto company, and they will typically have renter's insurance policies for you. But they cover you for both your own belongings if there was ever a theft, or liability issues if something arises. You know, a personal friend of mine actually caused some major water damage in her apartment, and she didn't have renter's insurance. So she was responsible for thousands and thousands of dollars for repairs both to her unit and the unit below her. So you can really see the importance of having renter's insurance.
All right, so in our top 5, number 3, something that drove me crazy personally. When I worked at the radio station, I had group insurance for as long as I was there. Then I came here and I had to go buy my own insurance.
Right.
And it's night and day. Health insurance, it drove me crazy.
Yes.
But health insurance is a must-have, really.
It is really the most important kind of insurance that you have to have. And I know it's expensive. It's probably the most expensive that you're looking at, but even more expensive than health insurance is healthcare cost. So you definitely want to make sure that you have that covered. If you're lucky enough to have it through an employer, great. If not, look out on the web or different agents to help you find an insurance policy that meets your needs. I would say if you're trying to keep the cost down, you can look for a high deductible plan, and you can couple that with a HSA plan.
Yeah, I did that.
So while a lot of your costs might end up coming out of pocket, at least they're getting the negotiated health insurance rate versus what you would pay just going into a doctor's office or hospital. And depending on what tax bracket you are in, if you have an HSA, it can be an additional 35% savings after tax.
Yeah, which really helped me this year preparing taxes, so I'm glad I got the HSA account.
Yes.
Life insurance. My brother sells life insurance. He would tell everyone they got to have life insurance, but that's number 4 on your list.
Well, life insurance, typically, you know, the others would apply to most everyone has to have them. Life insurance, I would say, is more important for people that now have dependents. So if something, God forbid, were to happen to you, you know, how would your dependents be taken care of? There's life insurance sold a lot of times for infants. I don't really see the purpose of that, but it's sold nonetheless, but I don't really advocate for that. But a term life policy for individuals that have dependents is relatively inexpensive, and try to get it also as soon as possible when you're young, because the healthier you are, the younger you are, the better chance of you have of locking in a great rate for 20 or 30 years.
Right.
And also with life insurance is don't forget about non-paid work, because typically people think about, well, whoever works outside of the home, if they lose their income, you know, you want the dependent to be taken care of. But someone not earning an income, for example, a stay-at-home mom, if something were to happen to her, there's all kinds of costs involved with replacing, you know, the household care, the child care, all of the duties that go along with being a stay-at-home mom. So you also need to have life insurance for someone that works inside the home as well.
Okay, great. And number 5 of our top 5 must-have insurances is one that everyone should have. And what is that?
And that's disability insurance.
Okay.
A lot of people believe it's not going to happen to me, or they picture it as an old people kind of issue, but it's actually the opposite. The younger you are, the more likely you are to become disabled. And in America, there's a 3 out of 10 chance of at least being on disability sometime in your life. So you want to make sure that you get a disability policy. And once again, the earlier you get it, the younger, the healthier you are, the better rate that you're going to get. But disability policies, they're heavily weighted to what kind of job that you do. So if you have more, you know, dangerous type of occupations, it's going to be a little bit higher than, for example, if you're going to be an office worker. But that's definitely something you want to invest in.
Okay, 5 great insurances we must have.
Yes.
I know a lot of people can barely afford one, so I guess the most important, if we had to pick one, would be, can you really just pick one?
Honestly, you really can't pick one, but I would say look at least getting the bare minimum in all of these and shop around. And one last thing I wanted to make sure with life insurance and disability insurance to mention that a lot of companies offer those, but choose to typically get your own, because once you leave that company, you leave that policy. And now you're older and you might not be in as good of a health, and you're going to be shopping for insurance and being at a disadvantage at that point.
Excellent point. All right, well, you're with us every Monday now on Atlantic Company. So what are you going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we're going to talk about a fun topic. We're going to be talking about Mother's Day.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes.
Well, we look forward to that. Thanks so much, Fatima. Well, for more advice, money-saving tips, ideas, coupons, even the insurances you must have, the top 5 list Fatima just talked about, you can visit the Shopping Queens website. It's shoppingqueen.com. Where earlier we had